and welcome to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. We are talking about Alien Earth again this week. This is the fourth episode, and Katie's taking the mick out of my robot sounding voice at the moment.
No, I just like the way that you were being very precise about it.
Fine. Right, we're talking about the flipping Alien Earth episode 4. We're halfway through the series now. How has that happened already? I have no idea.
Because they put 2 episodes out in the first week.
Well, logic. Okay, great. Thanks. We should probably introduce our crew. We have Katie.
Hello.
And we have, for the first time in the series, Lily.
It's me. I'm the problem. Hi.
Hello there.
Not the problem. It's going to be a catalyst for great conversation.
I love the energy.
And obviously you've got me. I'm Ian. You know me. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so we're not going to go straight into the episode today. Lily has not been on this series so far, so we're just going to let her go off. You know? We're going to give you a few minutes to talk about your history with Alien, how much it sucked for a while, and then, what your thoughts and feelings are on the first few episodes without episode 4, because we'll be talking about that a lot later. Lily, go off. We're not going to interrupt you. We're just going to let you get your feelings out.
I'm going to mute.
Feelings out.
I'm going to mute myself so that I won't interrupt you by accident.
Just so you all know, this might be a very bad idea. But anyway, it's going to happen. So I'm just going to do it. So what's my history with Alien? Well, I fucking love Alien. I was 8 years old when it was the forbidden fruit. For obvious reasons. Your 8-year-old kid shouldn't watch Alien. It's not good for them. But I did, because I was a sneaky little...
Rapscallion. We'll say rapscallion.
Rapscallion. Okay, yes. I sneaked into my brother's room. He had a copy of Alien, and I watched it while no one was home. Maybe they shouldn't have left me unsupervised. It was a very bad idea. I had nightmares for a month because parasites and facehuggers and everything, those kind of stuff freaked me out. So I don't know why I decided to do that. But I was so fascinated that I actually ended up watching all of them, because by that point, all of them were out, meaning the first 4, obviously. And yeah, I fell in love. It became easily one of my favorite franchises. And then time passed and passed. And Ridley Scott, I don't care, that fucking asshole.
Hold your horses.
I can't contain myself. He went in and made Prometheus. Prometheus was bearable because I never looked at it as an Alien prequel movie. I know it was set up like that, but it was so frustrating to think that this is how it all started that I just went, this is not an Alien movie. I refuse to look at it as an Alien movie. Still to this day, I don't care. It's not an Alien movie. And then Neil Blomkamp came into the picture, who I very dearly love. And he wanted to reboot the franchise, starting from the end of Aliens, where Ripley, Higgs, and Newt were on their little way in hypersleep. And then we know how Alien 3 starts. It sucks a little bit, but he was going to reboot the series, and he's going to bring back Ripley, Higgs, and Newt, and it would have been the best ever. They had concept arts, they had everything ready. Sigourney Weaver, everyone was coming back, and then Ridley Scott, that little bitch, got very jealous because everyone was more excited for Neil Blomkamp's movie than for his Prometheus 2, which he said there wouldn't be any Xenomorphs still. And people wanted Xenomorphs, and they wanted Ripley, and they wanted aliens, we wanted that. So he got jealous. Neil Blomkamp's project got cancelled very quickly. Prometheus 2 turned into Alien Paradise first, and then turned into that bullshit, dog shit, god-awful Alien Covenant, which is just fucking ridiculous. I knew that they're going to come up with the bullshit idea that it was actually David, an android, who created the Xenomorphs. I was very frustrated with Alien for a long time now, because people don't seem to understand that this concept already works by itself. You don't need to keep upgrading it and keep changing it and keep mutating its beings for it to be good, because it's already good. Alien Isolation, the video game, got it right. It was an amazing Alien follow-up. It was perfectly understanding of the concept of what Alien is. So it was perfect. And then Romulus came in. That also pissed me off because it started off so well, and then they just went, you know what? No, we're once again going to do the thing that no one asked for. But yeah, whatever. And then they announced Alien Earth, which is where we are at now. First of all, Alien Earth. I already had a problem with the title because the fuck are they doing on Earth? And then I got a bigger problem with the title when it was revealed that it's going to play 2 years before the Nostromo. The Nostromo is the original 1979 Alien movie where they make first contact with the fucking Xenomorphs.
You don't know!
What the fuck are they doing on Earth? But I was like, I'm not going to judge. It's okay. It's fine. I haven't seen it yet. They might not ruin it. Why does it play before the first film? I do not understand at all. This series does not justify existence. They added so many things that just doesn't make sense on the timeline. It's so fucking frustrating because movies and TV shows that are designed to be a prequel keep making this mistake. And I don't understand why. Like, what's the fucking point then of you making a prequel when you're going to upgrade a shit ton of things that never showed up in the original movies or original series or whatever? They introduced this whole idea of these companies being at war and taking over Earth's leadership. This was never ever mentioned anywhere. It was always Weyland-Yutani. Obviously, this doesn't close out the possibility that there are other companies, but it was very well established that they are the biggest one. They are the best. They are who control Earth, basically. But okay, there are more companies. You introduce new concepts to the already existing androids, which was always very, very established that because nothing has ever showed up except for Alien 4 when we got Winona Ryder's character, that there are androids and that's it. We don't have synthetics. We don't have cyborgs. We don't have whatever these child mutated things are. We just had androids and that was perfectly fine. But now we do have them. We have weapons that were non-existent in any of the movies, not even the later ones, but now they exist, and then they suddenly not going to exist anymore later on because it is at a shit place in the timeline. What is this series doing here? I'm so fucking frustrated by it. You're deleting or trying to delete everything that was already established, and it just doesn't make any sense. I was okay-ish with the first 2 episodes. Third episode really pissed me off right at the beginning. I was like, no. Ripping off a Xenomorph's head is just, it was where I was like, fuck right off. Just shut up. I was very frustrated by it. But altogether, because I'm not always negative, just sometimes, very often, I really, really, really like Timothy Olyphant because he's the best. He's amazing. He's the saving grace of the entire series for me. I can't wait to see more of him. I kind of wish he would have already existed in previous things, but I take what I can get. I like the Xenomorphs, obviously. I've only seen one so far, but yeah, it's still very fucking impressive and more than enough. I don't like how people react to it. Some cases, yes. Some cases it was like, well, that's your reaction to something that you've never seen before. That's also been a mistake throughout the movies, the later movies, obviously.
We have to be going. We have to get on with the episode.
I told you this was a bad. I could go on for 24 hours.
Absolutely fine. We needed you to get most of the anger out. I know there's going to be later. We're going to have some more later. We know that, but we just needed to get the explosive anger out. That most of what you said, I don't particularly disagree with. I don't particularly disagree with it. I do think that timelines are timey-wimey, as we discussed it last week. There's a lot of stuff going on at the same time, and because it takes so long to get anywhere in this fucking universe, the years go by, and the Nostromo was out way before this episode started. It like the alien Earth, the Nostromo was already on its run. It like yes, it's 2 years before the Nostromo actually happens, but it doesn't mean that the Nostromo wasn't already out in space when this was happening. I know
I
what you're saying, but it also none of what we're seeing in a prequel is precluding it from the the original. Anything what you're saying is valid, 100% valid, but we're talking about Weyland-Yutani here. They're an evil mustache twirling company who, if they want to keep secrets, they'll fucking keep secrets. Like, it doesn't matter if Ripley doesn't know anything about it or um, even Ash doesn't know about anything about it because they keep secrets, you know? That's my rationale.
Okay, I have to correct you on many things, by the way.
Well, I
From
didn't
the
say
previous
anything.
series.
How can you correct me on anything here? I didn't say anything to disagree with.
Not here, in previous episodes, because you
Oh.
guys said a lot of things wrong, and I was like, it's not.
Well, I never claimed to be an expert. Let's just be fucking clear.
That's true. That's true. So the Nostromo goes to the planet because the mother captures distress signal, which Ripley later determines that it was like a warning signal coming probably from the space jockey. So that's why they go to the planet. It's not like Weyland-Yutani gives them an order to go there. It's because the mother, the AI on the ship, catches the distress signal. That's why they land on LV 426. That's the planet. And that's where they find the ship of the space jockey. And they are very clearly the first ones who've been there. Because all the alien eggs are just in lines. Nothing ever implies that anyone else was there, except that the space jockey probably had tiny accidents with its own creation because the chest burster, like its chest is open. That's one of the things that I remembered now. That
Is it
Doesn't
implied
mean
that
that
they went to
they're
the
an
same
expert.
planet?
I don't know if it's implied, but it's kind of lore that that's where they find them first, and that's where they exist first. So
Law is law until it's not.
this series would make sense if it would exist after everything that happens in the original Alien movies.
Disagree.
Putting it before everything that happens with the Nostromo is just bullshit.
Disagree.
Why?
Because then aliens basically can't happen if you do it after the Nostromo.
Why none?
Because that's where they established the is it Harlan's Hope or something like that.
They can still pick it up afterwards. Like it can happen after Alien 4 even. Putting it before
Alien 4 is like 20 million years into the future. I mean, not 20 million, but
Well,
like 2,000 years into the future or something.
I maintain that the stuff around the synthetics and the cyborgs suggests that they became obsolete by the time Alien really kind of comes into it itself, because I don't think we're going to the Prodigy. The whole point of the synthetics specifically at this point is that they haven't been released yet, so something's going to happen that means that they're never going to get released. Is the implication. And I think that the implication that we're seeing with Marrow is that cyborgs are not efficient and therefore kind of aren't used that much and probably died out very quickly. It's like laser discs is the way I've been kind of describing them. It's like people know of them, but they're not effective material, essentially. They're the thing that didn't catch on, because at least with androids you've got something that can be fully programmable, but with the cyborg you still have the human element. And I think that at a certain point Weyland-Yutani was like, well, It's not like this is an ineffective product. We've got to deal with people at this point, and they're completely unreliable. So we might as well just keep making robots, and we'll just push those as the thing that we send out on stuff. That's the implication I got. I do agree that this timeline is skewy
Jeremy Baramy.
in many places. So I can see the frustration there. I just think that there's a way to kind of do a bit of mental gymnastics to go, I guess this works.
Which is what I'm doing in my head all the time.
Yeah, but if it's good, then you shouldn't be doing it. So if they would have paid attention to certain things and followed along, like, you know, for example, not introducing new stuff that didn't exist anywhere else in the timeline afterwards, yeah, you can literally step through these mistakes that they keep making by not making them. That's the thing. That's why it's so fucking annoying, because they got the technology right now. Like, everything looks like it looked in the first Alien movie, which is in the timeline, you know, happens later. So obviously the technology they use has to look like that. They got that right. But then they start introducing new things that will never be seen again in anywhere. And you're like, the fuck? Like, why are you doing this? And movies keep doing this, and prequels keep doing this, and it's like you basically because you need to create your idea something that didn't exist before, but now it's miraculously there, and then it's just going to disappear, I guess, by the time the next movie comes in on the timeline.
Okay.
I think at a certain point we just kind of have to accept that Alien is, as a franchise, completely inconsistent with the stuff that pops up and when it pops up, because at this point it's established enough that people just keep putting things in, and I don't think you're ever going to get a version of a timeline that's like clean and pure in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Alien
Right,
Isolation.
Alien Isolation isn't canon. I'm going to leave that there, and then we have to go on to the actual episode. Initial thoughts. Let's go on the initial thoughts of episode 4, please.
Do we want to start with Lily, or do I want to go? Do you want me to go first?
Oh, let's get all the salt out straight away. Let's go Lily first on an episode 4.
Just as an episode.
Timothy Oliphant was great. That's it. That's all I can say.
Katie, let's go.
I had a good time. I did every week. I still put it off a day because I do this every week. I go, oh, it's Wednesday. I really should watch Alien Earth. And then I get home from work and I go, no, not today. And I watch it on Thursday instead. But I had, I had a good time. I don't think it was as good as the previous episode, but again, we've got some more interesting stuff going on. If I'm being, what's the word I'm looking for? If I'm being generous, feels like the stuff that I'm enjoying isn't Alien specific. It's very much just, this is well-written television outside of the franchise sort of coupling. There's some good questions being asked, and the dialogue's great, and I really like all the acting. And I do have a very specific point that I was like, there was a very specific Timothy Oliphant moment near the beginning of the episode that I enjoyed so much. Yeah, I'm still having a good time.
I'm also having a very good time. I'm with you. I don't think it's as strong as the last episode. There are some interesting decisions that have been made in this episode, which I clocked on and thought, Lily ain't gonna be pleased about that one. But in general, I think it's just setting us up for a fall. Like, it's not like I don't think any of this is like meant to be. This is gonna be what happens in the Alien franchise from now on. This is just like, oh, this is the build up to what comes to become a disaster in Neverland. And I'm like, there's lots of different ways to come at that disaster, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that island, which I'm pretty enjoying.
This whole place is about to implode. It's going to be great.
It's going to be good TV.
Come on, you got to admit it's going to be really fun.
It better be, because I've been wasting my time.
And should we go on to spoilers then?
Hmm.
Let's go on to spoilers. Let's go and get the biggest salt out of the way. Let's talk about Wendy, Joe, and the Xenomorph baby.
I don't know what's going on.
What's going on? What's happening? What's that?
Right, so Wendy, at the end of the last episode, she heard all the Xenomorph embryos clicking in her ear. It was too much for her, and she collapsed. Right, so
Flopped around on the floor like a
flopped
fish.
around on the floor a little bit, like a little fish. And then this episode, she was in the doctor's chair or the IT chair, whatever you want to call it, and she had no hearing because they had to suppress all the sounds, or else she'd be going crazy still. So they've established that she, in some way, can hear the frequency of the xenomorph embryos at the very least. Because of she's a machine, I guess it's a machine. It's,
She's a she.
She's a she. She's a machine. She has like a literal speaker in her mouth. She can talk that sort of language. She has no idea what it means, but she can talk that language.
I can see Lily's really pissed off about this, but I actually thought that whole sequence was kind of sick. It was really creepy and very well done.
They zoomed up on her mouth like a lot. Like
Yes.
it was like she was just trying to make those sounds, and it was pretty creepy.
I just enjoyed it.
It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. If she has a built-in whatever sound speaker, whatever, why does she have to make the mouth movement? Why can't she just open her mouth and the sound comes out? It just looks stupid. Then the whole idea that now we can communicate with the aliens and they're going to be able to talk, that is no, don't take away that mystery from them. We don't have to understand them.
I don't think we're going to. I think
she did at the end.
I think
No.
she's going to understand them. I don't think we're going to understand them.
No. And I don't even think that she's going to really understand them either.
Then what the hell was that ending? Because you said that she doesn't know what she says, but clearly there was some kind of communication going there. So
a connection.
Yes.
I don't think that it's literal communication.
Then we don't need the.
All right. So what we're talking about here, guys, is Joe's lung from last week got implanted with the embryo. The embryo has grown into the little snaky xenomorph thing that comes out of the chest bursts. And Wendy, doing the alien sounds, sort of strokes it on the forehead, and it takes it. It just like a pet, but it's not a pet. It's not a pet. It's a xenomorph. What I'm thinking here is, you go to China and you start speaking Chinese, they're all going to be pretty surprised that someone who looks like me can speak Chinese. That's all I think this was. I think this was like a first meeting thing of, oh, you can speak my language, sort of. Like, what's going on here?
I genuinely don't know. My last note on here, it just says, what the hell is going on with Wendy and the Xenomorph? Because I can't, honest to God, tell you what's going on. I don't know where this is going, really. I am curious, and it clearly is going somewhere. I just don't know what it is right now. I just don't know. I can't tell. I can't make judgments on it because I don't know what's going on.
So that's sort of Wendy. Joe.
Poor Joe. He's kind
poor
of
Joe.
fucked.
Joe shouldn't be alive. That's it.
He's got a
He
mechanical
won't be.
lung.
Here's the thing. There's two endings for Joe in this. He's either decidedly not going to make it,
He shouldn't. He shouldn't have in the past 3 episodes either.
or Wendy's gonna die to make sure that he doesn't die. Like those are those are the two options that I can see going forward. I do love what they're doing with him in terms of the relationship to Prodigy, and the whole there's a full capitalist critique going on, which I am quite enjoying. Because the whole thing with him turning up, going to see, I can't remember the fucking bald guy's name.
It's Atom.
Atom. He when he goes like, "Hey, I'd like to leave," and he's like, "Well, you can, but we've just given you a new lung, so you might have to pay that off." And he's like, "Fine, I'll stay. When can I take my sister home?" No, your sister belongs to us because she's not a person.
Let me put this in the open for you. I own you.
And I was just sitting there like, "Fuck me, they actually really got him on this one." Because he doesn't know that his lung wasn't fucked. They just took it. They just straight up stole his lung and went, "Well, you belong to us now. You're never leaving." Apart from the fact that, Boy Cavalier really wants him out of there because he's Peter Pan. And he doesn't want brothers in his little funny Neverland space. He's not doing well. He's like, he may be alive. He's not doing great, though.
No.
He's living at this point better than him getting murdered by the Xenomorph.
Is living better than being killed by a Xenomorph?
Is living in this space where you don't have free will and a company owns your lung and also your sister and...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I get where you're coming from there.
You see what I mean? He's not doing great. But also, I'm very glad that he's still here because I like Alex Lauter. And I like watching him act.
I thought it was sweet his interactions with the rest of the Lost Boys in that group as well, apart from Slightly, who obviously has him in his sights.
I'm so worried.
The Boy Cavalier. Can you fucking wear some fucking shoes?
No, the man has his dogs out all the time. It's just feet. It's just feet.
When he started talking to Wendy,
and he started pointing with his feet.
He pointed with his feet.
Yeah.
It was pretty disgusting. Like, come on, boy, don't do this. Like, I know it's your character. He's very physical with his movements. Like, he's again pretty playful. He is a child, isn't he? Basically,
he's got that slightly chaotic. I don't even know if it's evil, but like maybe like very neutral, bordering on evil, like energy where he just doesn't. There is no morality going on, and he just wants to have fun. And I'm really enjoying him as a character. I think he's probably going to get facehuggered by the end of this. That's my guess. I've heard some bits and pieces that made me go, well, that seems like setup.
Yes, where the one where he says, "I'm not giving it back to you, Tani, because I don't want to wake up with a alien coming out of my chest." Yeah,
that sounds like something that's going to happen now. But I really like him. He's kind of nuts. And I think the guy playing him is doing a great job of playing that sort of sense of like that kind of wide-eyed, constantly thinking vibe of just sort of like, I'm doing stuff all the time, and there is no sense of like what right and wrong is in his brain. He just wants the fun thing to happen, the interesting thing to happen, which is I love a character like that. That's always a great time. He's not surviving.
No, you can't. Like, Prodigy's going to go away. We've established this. I think that Prodigy's going to go away. There's a couple of more moments with the Boy Cavalier which I really liked. The bit at the start when he turns up with Curly and tells her to go and fiddle with some buttons until he's ready to talk to her again, and then following up with that, can you hear what she's hearing? And Curly's like, "I don't know," and he's like, "Tell me what the truth, not what you think I want you to hear."
She's just never going to quite make it to being as interesting, unfortunately.
Curly.
Probably
no, I don't think so.
a good thing, actually. Probably fortunately.
Any thoughts on the Boy Cavalier, Lily?
The thing is that I said I try not to be negative with the entire thing, but
just go. If you don't like him, then just tell us that you don't like him.
Yeah.
But explain why.
Yeah.
I just hate the entire concept of pulling Peter Pan over this, because it's been done before. Other movies and TV shows try to do this whole what do you call them? Analogy of like.
Yeah, I've been kind of struggling to figure out what word, because I've been using metaphor, but I think it's like a narrative. It's like a narrative. Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I already, because I never liked when movies or TV shows did this, that we're going to just pull something on ourselves that is already existing and established, and we are basically admitting that we're kind of doing the same thing but with a twist. I mean, I see why they did it with the kids, especially with this guy as well, the boy cavalier, but I'm like, yeah, I just don't really like the whole concept of him, because he is set up as the smartest person in the earth, the boy genius, and he's just the best and everything. And then, he keeps making all the decisions that are just leading down on a road that everyone will get fogged. And if he's the smartest person on earth, I don't see how he can make these decisions.
Smart does not equal wise.
Yeah, but you don't
He's
need...
not wise. No, you do need wisdom in order to not make bad choices. Intelligence. This is why we get wizard hubris, right? It's the search for knowledge over everything else, including morality. So people go ahead and they push boundaries, and they make bad choices because they're not being wise about it. They're trying to be smart about, like as in like intellectually smart about it. They're not trying to be street smart about it, which is how you get hubris, which is what's happening here. It's just hubris. It's hubris all the way down. Also, it's very they've because of the Peter Pan analogy, if we put it that way, he's still a child. He may be a man, but he's a child that never grew up. So he's not got adult wisdom either. He's just somebody who's been given who got a lot of money very, very quickly and feels like he can do whatever he likes, damn any of the consequences.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, because that actually makes sense. Like, you know, especially when you got all that power and money way too quickly. You know, he's not even like 20 something, I think. I don't know if it's ever said out loud.
I don't think it's been said specifically, but he's clearly very young.
He's clearly very young. So I don't have a problem with that. That even makes sense. But then you mentioned that line where he says he doesn't want to wake up with a face hugger or an alien bursting out of his chest. Well, if he knows that is a possibility and then he has them in his possession, I'm like, you shouldn't be afraid of Weyland-Yutani doing anything, because you're gonna just kill yourself, basically. Or set yourself up to failure and doom. If you put a character in your series or movie or whatever, and you establish them being whatever, let's stay with the smart thing, and then they start doing very not smart things, I'm questioning your writing. A lot. No. I'm like,
I think he thinks that he can control the entire situation is the thing. I think he thinks because because he's in charge, he's gonna be like, because he's not doing the thing that's actually, he's not stepping in front of the egg and like letting the face hugger get him and all this sort of stuff. The moment he finds out that's a possibility, he's like, well, I'm staying on the other side of the glass. I'm very smart. He doesn't take into account for the fact, and I think he on one level, he knows that everybody else is not as smart as him, but when you're that smart, you kind of forget that not everybody will think things through in the same way as you. So there's so many variables going on. There's too many other people and these kids walking around. He can't control everything, despite the fact that I think he thinks because he's so smart, he can. So the things that will go wrong will be because of that hubris of feeling like, well, everybody's just going to listen to me anyway because I'm the smartest person in the room. And it's like, well, no, because other people are going to do whatever the hell they like and they have other motivations and all these bits and pieces. His obsession with Wendy is going to be the blind spot. Blind spot?
To read makes our speaking English good.
Blind spot that probably gets like the Xenomorph, the newly birthed Xenomorph to come out and start like wrecking shit up. Like I think that's going to be his like flaw. If I'm guessing, if I'm using my old narrative comprehension skills, that would be my theory. But I do at the moment I do buy where we're going. It's not like in Romulus when people just started making actively like bad decisions for the sake of the plot. I think every bad decision that's come up so far feels character like earned to me. so far. I don't know if that will change. All three of us have discussed our issues with Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's this.
I would say that in terms of the Peter Pan analogy, it is an analogy, but it's also an obsession for him, like the boy cavalier. He is obsessed. It is established in this episode that he was the one who named the kids the Lost Boys. It's him that's trying to put an analogy on the Wendy fighting the alien as pirates or Indians. Oh, hang on, it's the fucking crocodile.
I can't believe this.
So yeah, like he named his own island Neverland. He's the boy who didn't want to grow up. It's his obsession. It's a part of his character. I get that you might not like that we're going whole hog into that, but he's going whole hog into the Peter Pan references. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, under his breath, call Kirsch Tinkerbell at some point. You know,
I was never more sure that Kersh is Tinkerbell than I was in this episode. This episode specifically. Actually, to bring up that the moment I was talking about when I was doing my recap, the moment right at the beginning of the episode when Kirsch is there like, hey, maybe we should think about this and maybe we should, and he's like, don't you have experiments to run? And just the look onto the elephant's face when he's just sort of there like, okay, fine, whatever you say, boss. That was beautiful. I loved it.
What's going on with Kersh?
Kersh is doing android shit in the best way possible.
Morally grey shit.
To me, if I can bring it back to the boy cavalier, because it's still kind of in that in-between space, he feels like everything that Prodigy feels like he is. So he's actually got the smarts and the wisdom to recognize like the dangers that are coming on. I just think it's not quite going to be enough, or he's going to play too much subterfuge to like. He's going to come out on top. That's kind of the vibe, really. It's like, I don't know. I am curious as to he knows about Marrow. What's he going to do with that?
He's letting Slightly talk to him. Slightly's doing it because he can see and hear everything that Slightly does. I have no idea what's going on with that. Why is he just letting this go on? Is he going to step in if it gets too close, or is he just going to let shit go on? Because, experiments and shit.
Is he a spy? That's my big question.
Kirsch is Weyland-Yutani.
I think you might be right.
That's the answer, because androids are Weyland-Yutani, always and forever. I think either his programming got hacked, either he was already a Weyland-Yutani property to begin with. We don't know how he got there, how he works for the Boy Cavalier, if it was created by the Boy Cavalier, but Kirsch is the inside man. I think that's pretty clear.
I think I buy it. I do. I'm also willing to flip on that in the next episode if we get new information. But right now,
because it's going to be a look back episode of what happened with the ship and how the Xenomorph got on. Yeah, the trailer is out, and it's just going to be a look back on what happened.
Then the episode afterwards.
Yeah. Well,
but
it's a theory.
It's one narrative that I am getting a bit, well, not tired, but I wish they would change it up a little bit for Alien, is with the android. Because in the first one, obviously, Ash goes crazy and he's just like nuts by the end. And then we have Bishop, who's the best, because Bishop has always been the best. And then other than that, Andy is kind of a great character. David was a fucking asshole in the end, although he was still the best character. But it's always the androids who are the best, one of the best characters of these movies, other than Ripley, obviously. And I kind of don't want them to go down on the same rabbit hole that they always do with them, that they just so following orders or just going crazy because of their programming or whatever, that it's just all going to get fucked because of the android, basically. Because so far, other than Bishop, we didn't really have any good androids in in the Alien franchise.
Then there's a world in which we're being led to believe that this is what's happening, and actually he's putting in like he's just working very much in Prodigy's best interest by like keeping an eye on this. We honestly don't have all the information to be able to say for sure, but right now I do buy what you're saying. But I also can see a world because I know Noah Hawley's writing, I can see a world where he does go in the opposite direction.
He's
We'll
going to be
see.
the savior at the end
Mm.
of the survivors, you know.
I don't think so. I think it's either going to be a David situation where he's like, he's basically acting on his own interest in the end, or it is really just he was the mole of Weyland-Yutani all along, and he's just following those orders.
Do you think they're all going to bring him back to life by clapping and saying I do believe in fairies?
Yes, I do, because he's Tinkerbell.
Just as a point, because I don't think we didn't say it on here. Last week, I found a text post suggesting, before this episode came out, suggesting that the alien was the crocodile, which is why we all why myself and Ian reacted like that when they announced that, when the boy Cavalier turned around and was like, "Oh, you heard the crocodile, and now you can hear the," and I was like, for fuck's sake, it just keeps going. Also, somebody that same person pointed out that Marrow is Captain Hook, and I'm kind of obsessed with that as a comparison point.
Staying a little bit on Kersh, he did an experiment on the octopus eye creature who is now in a sheep.
And he's
sheep.
He's just watching.
Just watching.
I quite enjoy the design of this thing. Like, just generally speaking, it's very
it's cool,
creepy, and I like that it's kind of this sort of minor threat that's kind of just sort of hanging out in a sheep. And that its kind of whole thing seems to be just attach myself to the most intelligent being in the room,
which is a sheep.
Which currently is a sheep. It really wants to get at the people.
Yes,
it keeps trying, but it hasn't quite made it yet.
So speaking of the octopus alien and getting at the people, Nibs be crazy, man.
Nibs is nuts.
Nibs, like, talking about the Lost Boys in general, but like Nibs thinks she's pregnant.
I sent this as a screenshot to you before a couple of days ago, but I was writing about, we'll get on to Arthur and Sylvia. I was writing about that mostly, but then I was talking about the fact I literally wrote a note about how they stole Joe's lung, like just to whole cloth. There was no reason to take it, they just needed it, and they went, "It's fine, we've replaced it, but now you belong to us." And as I was writing that, Nibs came around the corner and was like, "I'm pregnant," and I went, "Oh fuck."
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
She's nuts.
She's pretty nuts.
And then that whole sequence with her talking to Dame Sylvia was like, oh, she's scary too. She's nuts and scary. Cool. The woman who plays her is fantastic. I will say. Everybody in this show has been brilliant so far. There's some good acting going on. She's
got that little like bird doll thing, like the stuffed animal.
I think it's a ostrich.
But she does not want to talk about the octopus alien or what she's made of. And she may fight people if they do.
Now, if there's anything that's going to make everything fall apart, it may be Nibs.
It could be Nibs.
Nibs is not well. Nibs is not taking the transition into not being a human very well at all.
Lily hates Nibs, judging by her face.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, the actress is really good, and it's great. It's actually something that we discussed before, like when do you stop being, and that's why I really love that conversation in the first episode of like, are you stop being human once your everything gets like put into completely synthetic body,
right?
And I said yes, because you cannot transfer emotions and you cannot transfer the hormones that need to do that. And I love that they brought that up in the first episode, like when they are talking to Wendy together, and the conversation is literally about that. Like, she's no longer a human because she doesn't have emotions, and that's why we put like these hormone infusers or whatever, try to replicate them. And I was like, That's what I thought as well, because what makes us human at the end of the day is not our organs and everything, and not just our thoughts, but the emotions behind the thoughts. And if once you lose that, I think you stop being a human and become just a thing, basically. So I really enjoyed that. And I think here what's happening, because they even had a code name for what happens to Nibs, it's that, first of all, the transition was probably not successful completely. They will probably bring it around as her mind can take the fact that she's no longer a human.
It's like the most extreme version of body dysmorphia, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
It's like whatever is going on, there is like an active cognitive dissonance going on, and I think that conversation is brought up more in this episode, not like as like specifically, but with that conversation between Joe and Atom, where he very specifically lays out that like that's not your sister anymore. That's a product that belongs to us.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's basically correct, I think, as well.
That's what's so horrifying about it, though. I think is the really fun part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the whole Nibs situation is kind of what's been happening with the android. So she's going to malfunction. She's going to break under the pressure that's going on. It's clear that she's traumatized by the eye thing. It's clear that she can accept that she's no longer a kid, and she has to do all this adult stuff, and she's just not prepared for it. So yeah, I think it's going to be the usual storyline with her, where she malfunctions, she goes crazy, she kills a few people, probably Sylvia, probably, I don't know, a few others. And that's just going to be it. And that's kind of the stuff that I don't really care about anymore when it comes to these alien stories, because we've seen it, it's been done. It's slightly different now, I guess, because of what she is, but yeah, not really doing anything for me currently.
There is I think an interesting conversation that's still like there is something being ruminated on, and I am curious as to whether it does go directly down that path or whether it kind of takes a bit of a left turn, because I'd be interested if it takes a bit of a left turn, or at least like probably heading down that path, but hopefully in a way that is slightly more interesting than the really obvious choice, because Noah Hawley doesn't tend to make the really obvious choice every time. He tends to make the sort of slightly left choice at the end of the day in a way that tends to be a little bit like kind of going, curious direction that you've gone in here. When he does well, I think that there's other times where he decides to take the left choice, and I'm like, that was dumb. Why'd you go on that? Why'd you go that way? AKA the end of season 2 of Legion, and basically the entirety of season 3. I'm not still pissy.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, not in the slightest.
Not
in the slightest.
I'm definitely not annoyed.
No.
Oh, and another thing, are we talking about the Lost Boys?
Yes.
As well? Yes. Are we talking about them now?
We can talk about them now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing about the Lost Boys is that they establish something, and then their characters don't make sense anymore. They establish that they can download information and they can learn things very fast, meaning that they should get rid of their childlikeness very quickly as soon as they are able to download things and learn things at a speed that humans are not able to. So
again, I think that's an information versus lived experience thing. I think that's the vibe that's going. Plus, there's some of them that are more interested in going towards that than the others, because like Isaac is older. He's more and he already does seem more grown up because he is downloading that information, and so does Curly. Like both of them have been like, oh, I might go for this thing, I might go for this thing. I don't think that I think that there's still an element of human will behind it, which is why they haven't just gone, I want to download everything all at once. Because I don't think that that's even occurred to them as like, oh, we could just do that. I think they're going, well, I'm interested in this thing, so I'm going to take that thing and I'm going to like learn it now, which is what like Curly did with like learning French and all that sort of stuff. And I think is why they come across as more adult, whereas the others haven't done that because they haven't thought to. Like it's heading in a direction. I really like Isaac, and I don't know if it's just because it's Kit Young and I love Kit Young, but like he's just like it's something very like I'm an adult now. I need an adult name. And I thought Isaac was such a sweet choice.
I went to the stock market today. I did a business.
And it suits him. I don't know. I just like
I mean,
that.
they should be focusing on him, to be fair, because he's right in the middle of what is this about exactly. So the whole alien experiment things, and I feel like that we spent way little time on him, and he should be more of a focus point.
My hope is that we'll get more of him in the
think
coming ones, because it does seem like he's being set up for stuff. And then you've got everything with Slightly.
the only person that just before we got into Slightly and Marrow, the only person that we haven't really focused on in any of the episodes so far is Smee.
Smee's just a kid.
He is literally, if you want to compare Smee and Isaac or Smee and Curly, it's chalk and cheese. Smee is an actual child. Like him and Slightly, best bros for life, but like they are actual children. They haven't grown up whatsoever. Like that, and then there's like scales for the rest of them. But yeah, Smee hasn't been looked at one bit yet. I'm assuming that will come at some point, because otherwise he's just there for no reason, yeah. And called Smee, which still annoys me.
Do you think Prodigy was just being pissy that day? It was like, fuck it, this one gets to be Smee.
Yeah, I hate this kid. All right, Slightly Morrow.
I continue to think that God, I keep forgetting his fucking name.
Babu Sise.
Babu, thank you. But I do think Babu is giving the goated performance of this entire series. It's just phenomenal every time he's on screen. And I had some really interesting thoughts about him, because I was like, I had a moment in the first conversation he was having was Slightly in this episode, where I was like, it feels like there's like this like hint of fondness for him, just like underneath everything. I was like, obviously he's being unbelievably manipulative. Obviously, but like there was moments in that conversation where I felt like he was genuinely quite fond, and I just was like, that is the ability to get that kind of nuance out of a performance like that is bonkers. And then the end of the episode happened, and I went, maybe never mind. Maybe he's not as fond as I thought he was. Maybe he just is straight up being manipulative the whole time. But I do think there's like an like a tiny little part of him that's just sort of like, this guy's just a little, he's just a kid. Not in a way that makes him go like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because this is just a child, but just in a sense of like, bless him. I'm going to continue to manipulate the shit out of him, but bless him.
Well, he's a father, isn't he? He should know how to deal with.
Yeah,
he should know how to deal with small kids and try to get them. Like, if he was a good father, which like there's no evidence to say he wasn't, apart from leaving, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of makes me go,
yeah. Then there's no evidence to suggest that he wouldn't be able to manipulate this kid to say, go and get me what I want. But then, obviously, you got to go nuclear sometimes. Say,
like, well, I'm going to hope that he does what I want him to do. But if he doesn't, I found his mother. Which just like, woof.
and his brothers, I guess.
And his brothers. That,
yeah. And he'd already set up as well, because Slightly told him that if we were gonna protect our parents, then in that second episode, when his first meeting with Marrow, he found his fucking parents.
I also really like that they did the work of setting up that Slightly was the one who was meant to be really bad with secrets, and now he has the biggest secret imaginable, and he has to keep it, because otherwise his family is in danger. And I was like, I think that, again, economy of writing, that's good. That was well done. I appreciated the work that was put into it. I just feel really bad for him. But I was also like, the moment he was standing outside of Joe's window, I was like, fuck, don't touch my boy.
Yeah.
Look, unless every single one of them on the island dies, this show doesn't make sense. That's it. So unless this goes full nuclear, then
I do think everybody is going to die.
As they should. Except for Kirsch.
I'm very look, they like I said before, they put a boy with big wet eyes and a sad face in front of me and basically proceeded to beat the shit out of him for 3 episodes. He's my favorite.
I'm not even surprised.
No, you shouldn't be. It's very on brand for me.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think that that's correct. That it wouldn't make sense. You could get someone defecting to Weyland-Yutani, and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah, that's Kirsch.
It doesn't have to be Kersh, is what I'm
That's
saying.
Kirsch.
It can be Kersh, but it doesn't have to be Kersh.
It has to be because it's Timothy Oliphant.
I mean, it doesn't though, does it? Like, I get what you're saying. It's your favorite character, but it doesn't have to be Kersh.
Of course, it has to be Kirsch.
Fine, whatever. It has to be
Me
Kersh.
too. You have to stop.
Yeah.
You have to stop. You're just going to keep pushing the button.
Yep,
Kirsch
fine.
is the best. So
I assume that the last thing that on our docket is the mold, Katie.
I don't have anything more to say on it other than it's still there. It's hanging out in the background, and I want to know what's going on with it.
you know what you didn't talk about, and it's a much more interesting question about it all with the mold, is that he is in full gear not to get that stuff on himself, and then everyone
Nobody
else is.
That's a really good point.
And everyone else is just walking around not having any protective gear, and that stuff is just.
It's just there and it's just hanging out and nobody's really paying attention to it, and it's driving me crazy because it's there and I want to know what's going on with it.
Because I think that's the more interesting part about it, is that full protective gear, and then everyone else is just walking by like.
But you see
nothing is
why
going
I'm
on.
so obsessed with it, right? Because I sent a message to Iain as well because we were talking about a couple of bits and pieces, and I was like, "Did you see the mold?" And he was like, "No, I missed the mold." And I'm like, "It was in the first scene. It was like in the background. I kept looking at it." And it was so intentionally framed as like being there. And I can't even tell if it is mold. There's times because it looks really green. I'm like, is it moss? I don't know what it is. But I keep calling it mold because it's kind of acting like mold in the way that it's growing on everything.
It's
I
something.
just want to know what it is.
Anything else? I think you said wanting to talk about Sylvia's slightly.
Oh, yeah. I just thought that was very interesting. I didn't realize they were married. That was a piece of new information that we got in this episode. Her and Arthur. And the fact that he's the one actually being like, we should get the fuck out of here. And she's like, no, he's so smart. Look at all the things he's done. And I'm like, it's interesting that she's like still so enamored with him, despite the fact that she clearly disagrees with a lot of his intentions, or like his what's the word I'm looking for?
Direction.
Yeah, any like a lot of his not motivations either, just like the stuff that he's doing, right? She seems to be like, hey, we should be, actually treating them as kids, and he's like, I don't give a fuck about them actually being kids. I want them to be interesting. But she's still like, she's got this kind of bright-eyed like, I'm still gonna follow him. Like he's still the prodigy. He's still brilliant. We can do all these things. Meanwhile, Arthur seems to be the only person with like a normal sense of morality and a normal brain cell being like, this is gonna explode and we should leave.
He's the only smart one.
It's gonna be so sad when he dies.
Oh,
he's gonna die horrible.
He's being set up as the nice one who very brutally gets murdered.
No.
I've got Sylvia and Arthur, an interesting pair. Sylvia defending Prodigy is very interesting. Also married, curious. And then I said, Arthur seems like a smart guy. You should absolutely make a plan. It's all going to go to fuck.
My last thing is the opening credits. Why the fuck is there a headless doll, a head of a doll on the beach being washed up?
I skipped that. Because I was like, I just want to get into the episode. I did not watch the opening credits.
I'm guessing Lily is a notorious opening credits skipper.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the opening credits, there's just a doll's head washed up on a beach.
Someone is getting
No,
beheaded.
that's not a metaphor for anything.
Guys,
Definitely not going to be like a synthetic who's going to lose their head or anything, I don't think.
No, it's definitely not Kersh who's going to get beheaded. No.
No, I'm thinking more Nibs.
Nibs, maybe, yeah.
Kirsch's gonna live. That's it. Otherwise, this entire thing is bullshit, which is already getting it.
He can't live because he's an android. Anyway,
Eye rolls never before seen.
eye rolls come up well in audio podcasts, Lily, just letting you know.
Yeah. Well, I rolled my eyes very heavily.
There was fluttering going on. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. I think that's the end, unless anyone else, anything else?
I just can't get over the fact they stole Joe's lung just for fun. this is just funny. It's both funny and horrifying to me. Like, I know it happened at the end of the last episode, but like they really hammered home that they was just like, no, we just took your life. It was the moment the boy cavalier turned around and went, "You'll never guess what we fucking did with it."
Yeah, they moved past that quite quickly after Joe went, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine."
Which just, I think, sums up corporations really in a nutshell. And the whole bit actually about how governments didn't work and thus the five corporations rose up and like took care of everything is the most capitalist propaganda I've ever heard in my life. I also thought that in that conversation was very interesting that he kind of referred to Earth as if it was a different place.
Oh yeah, I noticed that as well. That it's
as much as like we're saying they're on Earth, are they? Do we know that for sure?
I think it is more of a, because at the end of Alien 4, we get to go to Earth, and in the alternative ending, I don't think it's the real ending. I don't remember, but I always watch it with the alternative ending, so it must be the alternative ending that Ripley and Winona's character, whose name I always forget, doesn't matter. They are standing on Earth, and it's completely destroyed. Like it's in ruins basically, and they even have a throwaway line that this is the glory that we're coming back to, but or something like that.
I don't know. It just tweaked my ear in an interesting way. I was like, curious language, and like I've said, Noah's very specific with the language that he uses. So I'm like, I'm squinting at it and going, what's that about then? What's that about? Yeah. Plus the fact that we've got new Siam as opposed to, and like, I don't know. There's just like little bits and pieces that make me go, is that title a massive red herring?
Are we going to get a Thunderbolts star on it at some point to say Alien New Earth?
I don't think so.
I don't either. Okay, let's go on to episode rankings then. What do you think about it? What'd you score out of 10?
I would like Lily to go first because she was so horrified by our 8.5 last week, and I want to know where her vibe is currently.
5.5 at best. I'm really pissed at this series because, again, if it wouldn't play where it plays, I think I would enjoy it a lot more. But I just can't take out the fact that they went and made the decision that this is perfectly fine 2 years before the Nostromo. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's you literally had so many choices to do this at a different point in time, and then you made the very specific decision that we put it before Ripley and we put it before First Contact, and we're gonna say that we already met the Xenomorph and we already know what it is. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Because, I just can't get away from the fact that technology-wise, story-wise, a lot of the things that now exist here are just non-existent later on. It's not even mentioned because it was never established, and it just doesn't make sense to me to have this series on the timeline where it is now. But otherwise, what brings it up very much is that the actors are actually really good. I can't complain on that part at all because everyone is great, but Timothy Olyphant is the best, obviously, as I established that very early on. And I really love that they use practical effects for the creatures, for the Xenomorph, for everything. I keep having on Facebook all these photos pop up of how they made them, hand painted them, whatnot, and how they brought them to life. I appreciate that a lot, and that is fucking awesome.
The sets are great. Like the whole of Neverland is kind of sick as hell.
I mean, and the only reason I'm excited for the next episode is because in the first episode when they showed the ship, I was like, I'm watching Alien. They really got the vibe correctly in everything that was happening there. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for so long to come back to. So the fact that we are going back to see how it all went to shit, that's great. it's also not great because I kind of enjoyed that. We don't know what happened. It just all went to shit. So I don't know if I like that. Now we're going to get a whole like, this is what happened.
I do think we're about to get some very interesting context to some of the stuff that we've seen.
Sure.
But yeah,
I just don't think we needed to, but whatever.
Okay, so can I ask this question then? If everything about this is, well, not everything, but a lot of this is where it sits in the timeline, what score could any episode in this series potentially get up to in your score out of 10, given that it's in the wrong place in the timeline? Because like it's here. Like, are we gonna get every week it's a 5 because it's in the wrong place in the timeline? It's a 4 because it's in the wrong place. And what can it get to? What's the best possible score that an episode in this series could get to because it's in the wrong place in the timeline?
The best score it can get to.
Yeah. Like I'm just trying to work out what your level of this series is if I have to sort of do some mental arithmetics about how you like each episode if you can only get to like a 7 because it's in the wrong place in the timeline. You get me?
The best it can get to is 8.
Okay. So
it can get to that, but so far, no.
Okay. So 2 points off straight away. Right. So we're working on an 8-point scale with Lily. That's fine. I can work with that in my head and see and figure out where you sit.
If that is the case, if we just sort of like if we consider that, you're kind of only a little bit behind where I consider this episode to be in terms of ranking. If we're looking at if we consider that we're working on a base 10 and you're working on a base 8 system, the conversion isn't far off.
Yeah.
But look, altogether, I mean, it's very well made. I think that's no question about that. And the conversations are actually well written as well. So I don't have a problem with any of that.
It truly is the fact that where it is in context to the rest of the season. See, that is exactly what I thought would probably be the case, honestly. And I can accept that.
Yep.
That's my biggest problem with it, to be honest.
I'm sticking at an 8. Which, if we go by Lily's system, puts me at about a 6.
Yeah.
So, as I say, we're not far off from each other. I think, yeah, this one wasn't as good as the one before it, but I'm interested by what's going to go on next week. It sounds like we're going to get basically a mini Alien movie in an episode. I just really hope it's not too long. This is one of the things I didn't like about this episode. It once again got to like nearly the hour mark, and I'm just not really like. You have to do a really good job of making me get into an episode of television that's an hour long, because at about the 40-minute mark, I start drifting, and unless you can really make sure the pace keeps up, I'm just like, this is too long. Please stop.
That's so interesting because everyone, like, past TV shows and whatever we talked about, it always started off with a 50-minute episode and it went down gradually to like 40 to 30 minutes. And now you're complaining about me.
No, here's the thing. I think the perfect length of television is somewhere between 40 and 50 minutes. The moment you start getting beyond 50 minutes, I'm like, this is too long. But if you go under 40 minutes, I'm like, this is way too short. 40 to 50 minutes, right in that bracket. Perfect. Beautiful.
You would hate the new K-drama that I am watching because every episode is 1 hour 20.
This is the thing. Mum's watching them all the time, and I'm like, this is just I just could not. That's like you're watching movies over and over again. The only reason I got into Sherlock as much as I did was because there was only 3 of them. Like anyway, Ian, what's your ranking? I'm so sorry for derailing.
No, it's all right. I'm around about the same. I think I would go slightly less. I go to a 7.5, which again, on the 8-point scale is like a 6. So, so it's not too bad. I'm really enjoying the show, man. I'm still really enjoying the show. It's good TV. I'm looking forward to watching it every week. There is like intrigue. I like the Peter Pan stuff. I like how that's a through line. I like the Boy Cavalier. I like to hate the Boy Cavalier, but I like the Boy Cavalier. I'm interested about what the downfall of the hybrids is going to be. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yes. Kumi.
Kumi.
Yeah. I just really like the show. Kirsch is great as well. I'd like to see what is going on with his and Slightly's relationship going forward because they don't really have one. But he knows things. He just knows things.
What was that question he asked him? It was another one. There's been a lot of like Android sort of the vibed questions where it's like, when is a machine not a machine? And then he asked him one in this episode that I thought was very philosophical and interesting, and I can't remember what it is now.
It was something about. It started with "Hear no evil."
It was if Slightly would give up.
It was about that, but it was specifically about the way he like worded it that I thought was really interesting, and I can't remember what it was now, but I'm leaving it alone. We're at the end of the episode. Doesn't matter.
Okay, I think that's it then. Thanks very much, everybody, for listening and watching. We'll see you again next week on Couch Soup, Watching Now, podcast, Alien Earth. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Godspeed.
Are we friends still, Lily?
That should be asking that question. Also, Alien Isolation might not be canon, but
I thought that would really piss you off, especially if I moved on so quickly as well.
you were on a very, very, yeah. I was like,
ice thin.
Yes. First of all, for me, it's canon because it's Amanda. It's Ripley's daughter. They understood the assignment. That's what I'm getting at. They completely understood how to make something that is alien and connects to this universe very well.
Every time you're like, you clearly haven't played Isolation, I'm like, no, and I'm not going to.